Good afternoon to those who listen. It's February 17th, 2025, 1:04 p.m. Going back through the X-Files. This is the X-Files Season 10, Episode 6, My Struggle 2, which premiered February 22nd, 2016. So almost exactly 9 years ago, this episode came out. It's about CRISPR-Cas9. This episode is revolving around a pandemic that happens where everyone's immune system is compromised, and then their immune systems don't work and everybody dies. Well, everybody started to die until they found the cure in this. But so in the episode, there's released through the lines in the sky, if you know what I mean. And then everybody breathed it in, and then suddenly everybody started getting sick. Only people with alien DNA was immune to it. So then they had to get the alien DNA into a VAXX, and then that would save the people. But it's really strange. So here's the parts, and I'm going to link it into today's video.
We're not already in the dark.
We have to figure this out. What's wrong with the science?
Okay. The Spartan virus removes the adenosine deaminase gene from your DNA. Removes the ADA gene and your immune system will simply vanish.
Yeah, but I'm not getting sick.
It's only a matter of time. Without alien DNA, you don't stand a chance against the Spartan virus.
Okay. So how does it work? How does the virus remove the ADA gene?
A process called
CRISPR-Cas9. RNA and a protein cutting genes at exact locations.
Exactly. But in this instance,
Okay, I just decided, sorry about that. I'm going to put it with the subtitles so you could read. Make things a little easier to understand.
we're not already in the dark.
We have to figure this out. What's wrong with the science?
Okay. The Spartan virus removes the adenosine deaminase gene from your DNA. Removes the ADA gene and your immune system will simply vanish.
Yeah, but I'm not getting sick.
It's only a matter of time. Without alien DNA, you don't stand a chance against the Spartan virus.
Okay. So how does it work? How does the virus remove the ADA gene?
A process called
CRISPR-Cas9. RNA and a protein cutting genes at exact locations.
Exactly. But in this instance, used as a weapon.
So how does your alien DNA protect you from this weapon?
I don't know. The alien DNA must code for something that targets the Cas9 protein and must somehow deactivate the weapon.
But we should have seen it in the gel. Why didn't we see it?
They must have known that someone would try to find it. That someone would attempt to find a cure.
But your DNA is different.
Yes. What are you thinking, Agent Einstein?
That this was our mistake.
What was?
Our sample was too small.
Okay, so now let's look into this a little better. So here's the adenosine deaminase gene. Deaminase, I don't know how to pronounce it. So here's just a little more information on it. Let's look and see what Wikipedia says about it. It's interesting. It says here is needed for the breakdown of adenosine from food and the turnover of nucleic acids in tissues. So, with what is coming up in the video I'm about to show you, it might have something to do with the food, particularly chicken and eggs. But in the meantime, let's keep looking at this a little bit deeper. So I'm not sure if this has anything to do with you being losing your immune system. All right, I'm going into something that I probably shouldn't, or I should say. All right, here's where. Hold on. Here we go. Some mutations in the gene for adenosine deaminase cause it not to be expressed. The resulting deficiency, severe combined immunodeficiency. Wow. Deficient levels of ADA have also been associated with pulmonary inflammation, thymic cell death, and defective T cell receptor signaling. The T cells, we know T cells are important in, I won't even say it, you know what I'm talking about. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. May lead to autism and also AIDS. Now, AIDS is a form of an autoimmune disease. I'm just going to throw this on there. The human spleen. I also need to make a video about my mom. She keeps going back and forth. Good, bad, good, bad. I'm going to find out some more. I'm going to wait until I get the update before I do that. All right, so wow. I'm not going to say anything about this because I did get a strike for something like this, so I'll just throw this on here. You guys can read it. Pause if you have to. Here's Wikipedia's version of it. Whoops. Turn it. All right. Again, pause and read. Mm. Mm. Which leads to this video today. This is Ones That Can See. Same guy that does Hurting Humanity. Nations Conspire. He keeps losing channels and has to keep putting up new channels in order to get the information out there. So here's this. So now the company has received approval for the so they're going to start making those. Well, actually, they've already got an order out for 2 billion doses. What? Yeah, 2 billion. So don't worry though, they're not going to put it into humans. They're just going to put it into chickens and the eggs. But obviously, if they do that, then eventually people are going to eat that, and then it gets into their systems. Ugh. So has anybody noticed how eggs have skyrocketed in price, but chicken itself has pretty much stayed the same? Isn't that kind of strange? I have a feeling that eventually, that egg prices will go back down because they'll want people to eat the eggs and the chicken. So let's just take a little listen to a few things that he has to say.
We've got ones that can see. Welcome to today's show, everyone. It's not taking Donald Trump and his new administration long to bring about every New World Order agenda that we could possibly imagine. Let's just call it Agenda 2030 in real time, occurring in 2025. And
so, a lot of people are happy that the president, our current president, is in, and he is doing a lot of good things, yes, but he's also bringing in the beast system. And I've been trying to tell people about this because everybody thinks, oh, we've averted disaster, the Democrats didn't get in, everything's going to get better, which I think things will get better. But it's also leading us right straight into the beast system.
pay attention to it. Things like chickens get the bird flu vaccine, not people, right? Because immediately what people are going to start doing is start saying, whoa, not again. Whoa, I don't want to get one for the bird flu. And again, we'll still have suckers who would actually go and get injected for a flu shot from an actual bird flu, which is how insane people have gotten. But they're making sure people realize, look, it's just for the chickens. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. But it is, in fact, a big deal. So Trump's USDA has approved this new experimental bird flu vax for meat and egg producing chickens. This is the same manufacturing company that injected over 100 million wildlife animals during the last quote unquote pandemic. And it looks like they've taken a pivot here because they care if somebody's doing a Bill Gates exposed video. They do this to gauge the public, to see what they're suspicious of and what they're not. So CRISPR, again, was leading the way as being the one who was going to likely produce this bird flu vax. And in fact, we even just recently heard how RFK Jr., who is now the health czar in America, was an investor in CRISPR leading up to being selected by Donald Trump because they announced this to everybody conveniently.
So RFK Jr., he's making America healthy again, but he's also still involved with these companies that are doing, bad stuff. And don't worry, we're gonna have all tests. Testing will be done for all the VAXXs to make sure they're safe. But then they're still putting stuff out there.
Manipulation. But Zoetis is a large animal health company focused on developing drugs and vaccines for animals, while CRISPR is gene editing. Specifically, the technology can be used in various fields, including animal health, but it's not a company itself. However, Zoetis does actively research and utilize CRISPR technologies. In fact, Zoetis employees have been trained and provided expertise on CRISPR technology, cell culture, and flow cytometry, okay? They just had a class, a microbiology cure class, where they partnered together, CRISPR with Zoetis for animal health. And why is this important? For anybody out there, it's like, I don't get it. If the bird's gonna get the shot, what do I actually care? Because, and I'll show you a clip so you can get it in more detail later in the video.
The video will be in the
CRISPR
description
gene
box.
Will be passed from can be passed from a parent to a child. So in other words, if an adult received this, which we just heard about, during
And
the
see,
outbreak.
this is where we
Then
got to
that
start
adult
worrying
breastfed
because
the child, guess what? It's
it
going
can be passed
into
on for
the child,
generations.
and they don't have a clue, and they don't even realize what gene editing is. So in this case, they get it in the chickens at all these big farms, and you go to the grocery store and you buy some eggs, it's transferable to you. And this starts with the big farms.
Stop
but
eating
it ends
eggs.
up what they care
Unfortunately,
about
we might have to
is
stop
independent
eating
farmers
chicken.
like us.
I have to
Because again,
stop
we
eating
don't have the
meat
slightest
from
clue what they're
cows.
already putting in the food supply chain. I mean, we've seen video clips. I'm sure most of you have. I covered it over the years, where pretty much the food's magnetized, right? People are holding magnets up to their chicken, and they're seeing the black graphene goo, the ferrofluid graphene combo coming up, right? So they're already doing stuff.
Sorry
to
about the long
food supply
video,
chain.
but it's
This is
important
about
information.
Getting to the farmers. That's what it's about. It starts this way. And then they say, hey, we've cut back 70% of the cases are down. But there's still a problem. These farmers who are independent, who are selling their own eggs, who are selling their own chicken, the Amish, let's say, hypothetically, right? Because we know they'll bring them into it. They have to get it too, or we're going to shut down their operations. How many stories have we heard about the Amish over the last couple of years? Where the Amish are getting picked on by Big Brother. Big Brother showing up, they're shutting down their operations because they're not following FDA or USDA protocols or whatever they decide to, tag to
But
with CDC.
do the Amish have
protocols,
any of these
right?
diseases?
That's what they'll do. They'll make it so that everybody has to have it. I talked about that you brought in.
But ain't it amazing how
your-
it's
your
allowed in the
backyard
United
here.
States, but
Well,
not
one
in
of
the
them
UK?
Got in contact with another one, and now your whole
Okay, this will be the last part I'm going to put on here. You guys can watch the rest of the video. The link will be in the description box
Change,
below.
remove, or replace the genes that govern the function of cells. This means that we now have the ability to use CRISPR like a word processor to find, cut, and paste text.
In 2011, scientists created glow-in-the-dark cats. The researchers
Glow in the
took a
dark,
gene
where have we heard
of
that?
glowing jellyfish
Luciferase.
into the unfertilized eggs of house cats. It was a neat trick, but they had a bigger goal in mind. They also made the cats more likely to be resistant to a feline form of AIDS by again manipulating their DNA. And cats aren't that different than humans. In fact, we share around 90% of our DNA with them. So why can't we engineer humans in the same way?
Well, we can.
We can engineer ourselves to be resistant to life-threatening illnesses, that is. In fact, one scientist claims that he's genetically engineered 2 babies using a revolutionary tool called CRISPR. But what exactly is a CRISPR baby anyway? Would you like to be 6 feet tall or never bald? The secret to traits like these lies in the 6 billion letters of your genetic code. But there can be something else in there as well. Mutations. Genetic mutations are
They're messing with
these 6,000
what God has
medical
created.
conditions, from sickle cell anemia to Huntington's disease. But what if you could make those mutations simply disappear? That's where the gene editing tool CRISPR comes in. CRISPR is made from specialized proteins and other compounds found in certain bacteria. Normally, these proteins protect the bacteria by destroying enemy invaders like viruses. But the inventors of CRISPR figured out how to turn those proteins against genetic mutations and other genes linked to disease. First, they give the proteins coordinates of the wanted gene. Then, CRISPR runs a seek and destroy function. After that, other molecules are dispatched to repair the gene with new, healthy DNA. Just
Amazing,
like
huh?
that, you can edit the human genome. But while the edits may be quick, their changes can last for centuries,
Centuries.
especially if you're editing the DNA in an embryo. Embryos start out with a single cell, but eventually replicates into millions and then trillions more. So if you alter that initial cell first, you're manipulating the ingredients for every cell that follows later in life. And those same altered cells can be passed on from generation to generation. That's one reason why most experiments on human embryos haven't left the lab. That is, except for the work of Dr. He Jiankui. He claims to have used CRISPR to target and knock out the CCR5 gene in human embryos, which is linked to HIV infection. And then he did something that shocked the scientific community. He implanted the embryos into several women, one of whom gave birth to genetically modified twins. Resistance to HIV aside, most scientists say the procedure was too risky.
Is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
The difference of this fourth industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you. If you take genetic editing, just as an example, it's you who are changed. And of course, this has a big impact on your identity.
So I'm going to leave it there. I don't know. We might want to think twice about eating eggs and eating chicken. And then, I mean, it's eventually just going to be in the whole food supply. But, you know, to me, this just shows that we have to be near the end. And then eventually, you know, the mark of the beast will be coming out. Because right now, this is, I mean, how are you supposed to avoid, you know, getting this stuff if it's in the food supply? You know, that's one way to solve, you know, people that don't want to, that are hesitant about getting these things, you know. Because after the last one that happened, a lot of people caught on, and then they didn't get the you know what. So how do you solve that problem? Well, if they don't want to get it, we'll just throw it in the food supply, and then they'll eat it, and then they'll get it in their system. So this is like, you know, without permission, you know, without our permission, you know, we don't want to be eating that. You know, I mean, a lot of people don't want to get that, and they, you know, but we have to eat. We have to eat. So what do? All right, so please check the link out below and watch this. It's very important. It's stuff. It's information we need to know. It's information about what they are doing and how it's leading us towards the beast system. Thanks for watching. God bless.